in St. Louis for the final game of this 4-game series before the Dodgers continue the trip through the Central onto Milwaukee. Joe Davis, Or Hershiser, and Alana Rizzo as the Dodgers try to take 3 of 4 from the Cardinals. A little bit overcast, temperature in the low 80s. The final game of this set after the Dodgers took the opener 5-1. Game 2 9-4 to get their 6th consecutive win, but the Cardinals coming back behind Carlos Martinez last night to win 2-1.
11th year for the Adam Wainwright who the Dodgers are going to face. This veteran doesn't really want to take the field on time right now. Glad he's not pitching against Clayton Kershaw. He would be upset. Adam over there just saying, I think, okay, now I'll come out.
He was waiting for a cue from somebody, and he got it. And here he comes, ready to start the final game of this series. He's been much, much better lately. But the Dodgers will try to solve him today to take 3 of 4. Here's the lineup that will try and accomplish that against Wainwright. It's brought to you by Honda. At the top of it, Chris Taylor getting the start with Logan Forsythe getting a day off. Then Seager hits second. Bellinger hitting third for only the 3rd time. Gonzalez in the cleanup spot. Chase Utley hitting 5th. Then Kike Hernandez, Austin Barnes, and Yasiel Puig in front of the pitcher McCarthy. Wainwright, 35 years old now. Had an ERA above 6 all over his first 7 starts, but his last few starts he's given up just 1 run over 20 1/3.
And the velocities are about the same when he broke in, maybe a little bit down, but what he has really changed is the fact that no matter what finger goes down from Yadier Molina, he's going to change speeds on that pitch, especially on his curveball. He's got one that he'll take down to 70 miles an hour, and then he's got the hard one that he's always had, and he's almost abandoned his cutter. So fastball, curveball change, a lot of those, and a lot of changing locations and changing speeds.
It's a guy that finished in the top 3 in Cy Young Award voting 4 times in a 5-season stretch. 2009 to the 2014 season, there was 1 year in there that he missed entirely because of Tommy John, but was always in the equation for the best pitcher in the National League. Ready to go with Chris Taylor climbing in. Dodgers and Cardinals game 4. Off we go with ball 1. Dodgers have won 6 of 7. 11 of their last 14. Even with the loss last night, still a half game up on both the Rockies and the Diamondbacks. Strike 1. Cardinals meanwhile 4-10 in their last 14. They sit right at 500. The picture in the Central completely different than the picture in the West. Things are muddled in the Central with mediocrity. So St. Louis a game and a half back of the Brewers, who are the only team with a winning record in the Central. Coming inside 1-2. 2-2.
This Cardinal team really does not have anybody in their lineup or even on their roster that is playing up to their potential, either their last year's statistics or what they were projected to grow into. And even with everybody having down years other than the guys in the rotation, they're still hanging in there with the Cubs.
Well, the Cubs have lost 6 in a row after the Dodgers swept them. The worst team in the National League, the Padres, swept them. They sit, as you saw a moment ago, 25-27. Wainwright pitches 2-2, and Taylor's behind a fastball with late life on it for out number 1.
You've experienced so much success like Adam Wainwright has, the top career ERAs of active pitchers. And then you get off to such a slow start, it attacks your ego a little bit. You get a little upset having to do interviews about, you know, what's wrong with you and are you getting older, and he's made a nice adjustment.
Now works against Seager. He's reached in 13 consecutive games. There's that get me over curveball you're talking about that It's only 69 on the gun.
He's throwing one at 73. He's throwing one at 69, and he can throw it as hard as 83, 84 miles an hour. Changing speeds, just another way to reinvent yourself. Instead of trying to be a square peg in a square hole, all of a sudden, if your stuff is a little rounder, figure out a way to get it in. Get guys out. Reinvent yourself a little bit.
His 1-1 delivery. Cuts inside on Seager, and it's 2-1.
He's learned a little bit from Carlos Martinez on how quick he's working. He's getting right back up there on the rubber with those high socks.
Cardinals have some of the fastest workers in the game throughout this staff. Wainwright gets an easy bouncer off of the bat of Seager. 2 up and 2 down.
72-mile-an-hour dewdrop that Corey Seager hits off the end of the bat. Guy drops down to that velocity level. All of a sudden, the hitters have to make a serious adjustment to wait for it.
First time Cody Bellinger will face the veteran Wainwright. Hitting third in the lineup today. Only the third time he's been there. And muscles one, foul, strike one. Cody 1 for 13 in this series. The lone hit, a long home run. And over his last 10 games, hitting only a .135. Having struck out more than half of his at-bats in that stretch. Here's an 0-1 to him. Big breaking ball, 72 this time. Falls out of the sky to make it 0-2.
The ballots were coming around for Rookie of the Month, Player of the Month. I'm sure Cody's going to be on an awful lot of those.
And his first full month in the majors. Little jam shot against the shift that will spin foul. His first career hit in the majors was a swinging bunt that went inside the bag. Hit him a lot farther between then and now. That one goes foul, and it's still 1-2.
That would have been really fun to watch if he could have got it beyond third base.
Think he would have had a chance at 2 with it peeling the way it was.
If it would have really curved over by the Dodger dugout, yeah, like a cut wedge.
Wainwright trying to work a 1-2-3 first inning. And the veteran gets a bouncing ball off of Bellinger's handle to Carpenter at first. And he does retire the Dodgers in order. Brandon McCarthy takes the ball, and you come back. Louis. Cardinals and Dodgers meeting for the 7th time in the last week plus. And for the final time during the regular season. Here's the Cardinals lineup brought to you by Honda. Dexter Fowler, last night's hero, leads it off. Then it's Carpenter and Piscotty. Jerko bats cleanup. Molina's the 5-hitter. Phams in left hitting 6th. Then DeYoung and Diaz in front of Adam Wainwright, all hitting against Brandon McCarthy, who is 5-1 this year and shut the Cubs out over 6 innings in his last outing. Removed him after 79 pitches because of knee tendonitis, but got it checked out. Nothing serious and didn't have to miss any time. Strike one.
Brandon gets ahead of Fowler right here, but when he pitches behind in the count, that's where he's really been successful this year, differentiating himself from other starting pitchers. Usually that's when you give up your damage, when you fall into these fastball counts. But over the last few years, as he's continued to pitch and get better, the cutter and the two-seamer have really prevented the slug percentage in those counts.
Wow, and he works Fowler over. 3 fastballs. He looks at them all. Out number 1.
Backed into a fastball counter at any time. He can throw the two-seamer or the cutter, so he gets the ball off the barrel even though it's firm, and he throws a strike. He keeps those hitters from causing damage.
Said that knees bothered him on and off throughout the year, but it was the worst that it had felt Saturday against the Cubs. It flared up a little bit in some starts, but to the point where he had any issues with his delivery. Carpenter taking a strike. So they figured it'd be best with a big lead at that point not to push it. Little rest between starts, and now he's ready to go for his 9th of the year. His first ball just misses off of the edge to Carpenter.
You watch him kind of drop and drive, big man that he is, right there where they drops. That's when the pain can come in.
Carpenter turns on a little flare to short right that sinks in a base hit. One-out single. Matt Carpenter brings up Stephen Piscotty.
Target up and in, baseball up and down the middle, but still jams him. Shows you how big that hole could be for the up and in pitch to Carpenter.
Piscotty, the latest Cardinal to try his hand in the 3 spot. 4th time that he's been there. Could have been Carpenter for much of the year. It was Molina for a game yesterday. Now they try Piscotty to kickstart this offense, which has really struggled. 1 ball and 1 strike. Below league average on the year. Even worse over the last 10 games. The Cardinals averaging less than 3 runs. Carpenter at first with 1 away. McCarthy home with a 1-1 pitch. On the hand, strike 2.
Scotty with 22 home runs last year, 85 RBIs this year. Right around what, a third of the way through the season, he's only got 2 home runs. 12 RBIs is one of the reasons the Cardinal offense was projected to be better, but is not.
It's one of the reasons they didn't go out and make a splash in free agency or make any trades for any big bats. McCarthy's 2nd strikeout, and he's gotten it done almost exclusively with a fastball so far.
He is best when he's attacking. That aggressiveness brings that late life as he gets down the hill with that big body, releases that ball out front with spin. That's a good finish.
Runner at first, 2 gone, and Jed Jerko, who is 0 for 15 in his career against Brandon McCarthy. This is a good hitter. One of the most powerful hitters in the National League since the Cardinals acquired him prior to last year. This year hitting for a high average. Flips one into right center, and that is his first base hit against McCarthy. It sends Carpenter to third, and the Cardinals have them cornered with 2 out.
The odds say you're going to find a hit every once in a while if you just put the ball in play, and that's what he does solidly right there. With 2 outs, Carpenter is off at the crack of the bat, easily gets over to third.
So a 2-out chance for Yadier Molina. Strike one. That 2-seam bearing back in towards him. It has been exclusively fastballs over the first 13 pitches for McCarthy. Whether that's the cutter or the 4-seam or the 2-seam, he's mixed them. But no curves, no changes so far. 0-2, sticks with that game plan.
Well, that was a well spotted fastball right there, running down his hands on the first pitch, and then 4-seamer right on the edge right here. Austin Barnes with the target, doesn't even need to move his glove. Both these starting pitchers had some good coffee. They are really moving quick out there.
This day and age, probably bulletproof coffee. 0-2. Popped up. Barnes has it located. And McCarthy works a scoreless first inning right in that fastball. All 15 pitches that he threw, a variation of his heater. Cardinals playing for the 7th time in a 10-game stretch, but that'll be it during the regular season between these two longtime rivals. Played in the postseason as frequently as anybody over the last decade and a half or so. 4 postseason meetings in the last 13 years. 04, 09, 13, 14. Cardinals won 3 of those series. Dodgers winning the 2009 National League Division Series. Wainwright to work against Gonzalez in the middle of the Dodger order. First pitch of the inning, outside, ball 1. Teams first met in 1892. And are separated by only 5 games in the all-time series. Lays off, 2 balls, no strikes. They were the St. Louis Perfectos after they were the St. Louis Browns when they first met, and became the Cardinals in 1900. 2-1. Told this story last week, but they had to change the Cardinals from perfectos because there was just kind of a blemish on the whole image of the franchise because of what the owners did to try and make it the best franchise. Their intentions were right. On the corner for a strike, 2-2. So the owners at the time also owned a team called the Cleveland Spiders. What they did, though, they took all the good players that they owned, moved them off of the Spiders, and put them on the perfectos. That included a guy you might have heard of named Cy Young. And the Spiders that year went 20-134. Worst team in Major League history. Brooklyn squeaked by them that year by 84 games.
Sounds more like a run differential.
Yeah. Spiders drew about 200 fans per game, so teams started to refuse to even go there because the money they were making on tickets wasn't enough to pay for the travel for the visiting team, which is how it worked then. So the Spiders had to play 112 games on the road in that 1899 year. And that's when the league put in the rule that you can only own one team. Adrian making Wainwright work, leading off the second in a scoreless game. Settled back into the cleanup spot for Dave Roberts as he's looked a little bit more like himself since coming off of the DL. In the dirt, full count.
Adrian's bat speed is definitely up, and he's always been a guy that can approach a pitcher in multiple ways with different swings and different stances. And I think he's got a lot of different weapons available again.
Smacks this ball to center. Dexter Fowler is there, and on the 8th pitch of the at-bat, Wainwright wins it with a fly out to center.
Speaking of history, this battery pair here of Wainwright and Yadier Molina are the #1 pair of St. Louis Cardinals all time. This is their 228th time together. They came in #1 this year with 217. They passed Bob Gibson and Tim McCarver, who ended their careers at 197 times together. Bullet Bob.
Chase Utley takes a strike. Tim McCarver's still around doing some games on Cardinals television. Long-time analyst on the World Series for Fox. Does a chunk of the Cardinals schedule. Tails up, 1 ball and 1 strike. On the veteran Chase Utley, over the last 20 games is 3rd in the National League with that .367 average. Two and 1.
Dave Roberts was asked to comment on Chase Utley's resurgence, and just in passing said something about, well, you know, swing's better, and those first 50 at bats he didn't have a swing, and now he's got his legs under him. And then I thought about it. I said, you know what, he's probably made an adjustment with staying in his legs a little bit more because he's hitting for more power, and most of your power is generated from the ground up. So maybe he was a little top heavy early on, and all those at bats where he was rolling over to second, and now he's a little bit more stacked and staying in his legs. He seems to have a lot more power when he makes contact.
3-2, and us saying maybe it's about as good as we're going to get on that, because Chase sure as heck ain't sharing what the tweak was.
You can tell the guys that don't want to have mechanical thoughts or talk about it in interviews because they just don't bring it up. They just say, yeah, swinging the bat better. Yeah, seeing the ball better.
Outside, and the Dodgers have their first base runner of the afternoon on a 1-out walk from Utley.
Speaking of seeing it better, a curveball right there that he just spit on. Almost automatically, you recognize that pitch early.
Brings up Hernandez, sitting 6th today, and as Alana told you off of the top, starting at the 3rd different position in as many days. Started at shortstop to give Seager a day off in Game 2. Started in right to give Puig a day off yesterday. Today starts at 3rd. Strike 1 on a cutter to the outside edge.
That's what it takes for Kike to get in the lineup every day. He'll play wherever you want him to play.
Fouled off. Let's go down to Alana.
Guys, Dave Roberts from the dugout yelling at Kike Hernandez in the box to get a base hit to right center. He's also saying, you know what, let's get Yasiel Puig in the box. After the 0-1 count, he basically said, that's okay, that's okay. And then when he fouled that one off, he said, that's okay, just keep going. So always cheering Dave Roberts.
Wainwright pitches 0-2. Hernandez takes ball 1. Dave enjoyed his 45th birthday yesterday. His wife and his son in town with him. School just got out. Really good grades for his son and his daughter this school year. Two balls and 2 strikes on Kike Hernandez. Off day today for much of the league, although the 3 teams in the West, all near the top, are playing. 12:40 Los Angeles time. Rockies will finish up their series in Seattle. Arizona's down in Miami now, beginning at 4:10 LA time tonight. Breaking ball, got him, 2 out.
Adam Wainwright can really spin a baseball, and you know that by the height of this pitch, and it still breaks sharp. Like Clayton Kershaw's curveball, like Rich Hill's curveball, when you can throw it up and it still breaks a lot, that's somebody who can really spin it.
So with 2 outs and a man at first, it's Barnes. Austin 1 for 2 in the series with a double, and then pinch hit last night, struck out. One and 0.
When Austin first came to the big leagues last year, he talked about how he was trying to get 3 hits in 1 at bat. He really looks like the game has completely slowed down for him now. Understands that he's a big leaguer, how to go about his business. Really liking the maturity that we're seeing from him now. There's so much responsibility for a catcher. You know, you got the whole pitching staff you have to learn. You're trying to wait for your playing time. You also have your pinch hitting duties. Also trying to learn other positions and be at least adequate at those places, and also the pressure just trying to crack the lineup, be a big leaguer. There's so much going on in your head, swirling around on a daily basis, but he's settling into his routine and everything else.
On 2-0, watches a fastball tailing for a strike. He said a big thing was just kind of taking a deep breath, stepping back, and simplifying everything. Goes back to that first point you made, trying to get 3 hits in 1 at bat. Well, he obviously can't do that, so he stopped trying so hard. Now, that sounds counterproductive, but sometimes that's the way to do it. Count evens.
There's so much thrown at you, you know, from veterans and coaches and managers and all the different data there is. And all of a sudden, if you try and apply it to your game all at once, it's so hard. You know, veteran talks like a veteran because he has slowly learned all those things and then goes to impart it to you a little bit. And it's like having a gourmet meal every day. It's just pretty soon you just want to have a basic hamburger.
Protects here. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Maybe put some cheese on it, though.
Yeah, I mean, you can have some condiments, but
right, I get your point.
You don't have cheese on your hamburger.
I do.
Oh, do
That's all I have, though.
Oh, okay.
Utley's at first with a 1-out walk and a 2-2 to Barnes. Big curve, muscled into left center, a base hit. Utley's on his way to third, and the Dodgers put him at the corners with 2 out. First hit of the day for the Dodgers comes from Austin Barnes.
Exactly the table setting that the Cardinals did. They're bottom of the first. They couldn't produce a run with first and third, 2 outs. Now the Dodgers getting an attempt here, top of the second.
Gives an opportunity to Puig, fresh off his spa day yesterday.
That kills me that Dave Roberts calls it a spa day.
Yasiel used the spa day to go up in the arch. Fouls it back, strike 1. And if you weren't tuned in last night or the day before, spa day is just a fun way to say a day off, and you get to the park on kind of your own time. Just be ready for the middle innings to pinch hit. Managers will sometimes try to do that when they know they're giving one of the regulars a day off. Tell them in advance so they can truly reset and recharge.
I think we got to reach out to Morongo Casino Resort and Spa and let Dave Roberts let us know when somebody's getting a spa day, and they can sponsor the spa day.
Oral selling. Cue shot off of the mound is short. Diaz steps on the bag just in time to get Barnes. And the Dodgers leave them at the corners here in the second. Dodgers the best daytime team in baseball this year. Anything to that, or is that just kind of a coincidence that they happen to win games that are played during the day?
I think it's a little bit of a coincidence. I did not like pitching in day games because your body clock kind of gets around night games usually. And after you get into the season with these West Coast to East Coast flights, West Coast to Central Time flights, you just kind of get used to there are days when you've got to make some adjustments. You could be tired. I had to get up earlier, really early for day games.
Ones you'd pitch in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get up 6:30, 7 in the morning, kind of get your day started so that the middle of the day doesn't surprise you.
Tommy Pham, hitting 6 for the Cardinals today, leads off against McCarthy and takes a ball. And for a ball player, 6:30 or 7 is really, really early.
Yeah, even when I was tired, I just get up because you just get the body going. You walk to breakfast, get some exercise, get everything moving around. Sleep in till 9 or so, and all of a sudden you're pitching in 4 hours. It just doesn't seem like there's enough circulation and things going on to get ready and get adrenaline flowing.
2-1 on Pham as McCarthy throws his first breaking ball of the game.
And it's a good one. So he can use it or he can save it, and he knows he has it.
Home with a 2-1. Caught the corner, 2-2.
Really impressed with Brandon McCarthy when he's on his game, and he's been on there a lot. This is the guy the Dodgers signed. Some hurdles that got in the way with injuries. When they scouted him and said, let's bring him over, gave him the contract, this is the guy they scouted. The aggressive strike thrower that can spin a baseball, can power it in there. Pitching with a lot of confidence and great stuff right now.
Has 2 strikeouts. And now gets his first look at Paul DeJong. A fastball, strike 1, and he's relied almost exclusively on that heater. I know you've talked before about why show everything early in the start if they're not forcing your hand to do so.
Absolutely love the fact that he's not over pitching. Show things, and then as the team that you're facing forces you to start throwing other things, you go ahead and do it. But until then, keep it in your hip pocket. Show it to them later when you need to get out of a jam. And the only time you really should throw those pitches then, if you don't need them, is just to kind of keep a feel for them. So if the jam does erupt on you, you'll all of a sudden still have a feel for them and know how to execute them.
He's falling behind is 2-1. Line to second past Utley. DeJong with a solid 1-out single.
Chase Utley makes a nice attempt here, and I worried about when he hit the ground there with his wrists and his glove kind of bending over. I don't want him to hurt those hands. They've been holding the bat and the glove real well lately.
Runner at first and 1 out. It's the 8-hitter Aledmys Diaz standing in against McCarthy, taking ball 1. Only 1 for 10 in this series for the second-year man. Originally from Cuba. Got an opportunity last year because of injuries. And took off. Was an all-star as a rookie. 2-0. Diaz is 26. Defected in 2012. Signed the deal with the Cardinals about a year and a half later. Three balls, no strikes. There's a strike.
They don't start the runner. 1 pitch away from getting out of the inning. Get yourself a ground ball. Good chance it'll be a double play.
Runner does go, and it's fouled back. Full count.
A couple different theories right there. You got a guy at the plate that's struggling with the bat, so you start the runner to help him out, or you run yourself into a double play if you're Mike Matheny, because you got a guy who's struggling. Maybe he's going to swing and miss.
Runs again. Diaz will stay out of the double play with the runner in motion. McCarthy kind of an awkward throw without setting his feet to get the second out.
No crow hop there.
No.
Looked like somebody had cemented his legs into the ground and forced him to throw in that direction. He just goes, oh, okay, I'll go that way. Before he warms up before a game, he does do a few tosses like that where he coils just his upper body and he's facing the person he's throwing to.
Yeah, it looks like a quarterback warm-up drill. Ball one on Adam Wainwright.
He used to do a few of those.
Done a few in my day, yeah. Wainwright, a good hitting pitcher. Has a home run already this year. DeYoung at second and 2 out, waits on a 1-0 and swings and misses. 1-1. He was a football player. Played receiver though. He's an all-region receiver in high school. Was an all-state kicker. Curve for strike 2. McCarthy trying to strand a man in scoring position. Count evens on Adam Wainwright. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He would have scored his second inning. Breaking ball lifted to deep left field. Adam Wainwright goes deep. And the Cardinals lead 2-0.
Breaking ball, usually a curveball to the pitcher. Very effective pitch no matter what the location. It's down the middle and in the middle part of the plate. And Adam Wainwright, being the good pitcher he was, he's a little out in front, but not out in front enough if you are a Dodger.
10th career home run for Adam Wainwright. And gets a curtain call. Back to the top, Dexter Fowler. Oh, and nobody in the lineup's providing any kind of punch. Leave it to Wainwright every 5th day.
Last 3 runs by the Cardinals. One of them, the solo shot at the plate from last night that won the game, and Wainwright's home run right there.
Fowler took strike 3, called his first time, watched 3 consecutive fastballs. Here he's behind 1-2. Slashes a base hit to left. Cardinals already with 5 hits against McCarthy here through 1 2/3.
Could the home run from last night be the spark that Fowler needs to get going as a Cardinal? It's been a huge disappointment so far. Spent an awful lot of money to get a productive leadoff hitter and a world champion. 2 for 3 in his last 3 at bats, though.
Brings up Matt Carpenter. Singled in the 2 spot last inning. McCarthy pitches him backwards, strike one. A 1-1 pitch. Strike two.
We really caught a break with the weather here in St. Louis. All 4 days have been gorgeous. No threat of rain here in the Midwest. 81 degrees. A beautiful day.
Always a threat of rain in the Midwest, even if it says there's not.
You don't like the weather? Just wait a couple hours.
Yeah, right. It'll change. Carpenter stays alive. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes. McCarthy in 3 starts in May didn't allow a home run. So the one hit by Adam Wainwright is the first one since April 29th. Brock Stassi of the Phillies got it. Fowler runs, but Carpenter strikes out swinging and ends the second. But a Wainwright home run has the Cardinals in front through 2.
A couple of injury notes for you. Adam Liberatore, left-handed reliever, was placed on the disabled list today with left forearm stiffness. And oftentimes when you hear of that, it could be the sign of something more serious, perhaps with his elbow. So he is heading back to LA to get looked at by Dr. Neil Elatrosh. Also an update for you on left-handed starter Alex Wood, who's already on the disabled list with inflammation in his SC joint. Apparently it's not progressing as quickly as they would like. So he's also back in Los Angeles being observed by team doctors. Perhaps will miss his next start. That could be the spot for Hyunjin Ryu.
Thank you for the update, Alana. Here's McCarthy. Facing Wainwright, who took him deep to start the scoring in the bottom of the second. You're wondering about him exacting revenge. McCarthy in 105 career at-bats has 6 hits, none of them for extra bases. But he's ahead 2-1. Fouled off 2-2.
Pretty good swing right there. Ball was kind of up in his eyes. He had a chance to hack at it. Brandon's throwing the ball real well. Just that one pitch to Wainwright left that curveball up a little bit.
The 2-2. Buckles his knees with a curve, and the third punch out for Adam Wainwright.
Same pitch that Wainwright hit the home run on, but his was executed a little better.
Second time through the Dodge order now. Here's Chris Taylor. Strike one. Wainwright in his 12th season now. Debuted with 2 games in 2005, so he gets credit for a season there technically. First full season in the majors, he was exclusively out of the bullpen. Drops in a curve, gets ahead of Taylor 0-2. That was the closer for the Cardinals in their World Championship run that fall, 2006. Became a full-time member of the rotation the next year, and that's when he started the run of finishing top 3 in Cy Young voting 4 times in a 6-year span. And for him, a 5-season span, because he missed 1 year following the Tommy John surgery. Taylor smacks it to second. That's DeYoung. That's out number 2. So McCarthy comes back from the Tommy John, has another couple really good seasons, finishing in the top 3 in Cy Young voting, but then early 2015 off to another fantastic start. Running out of the batter's box in a game at Milwaukee, blew out his Achilles tendon. Came back late that year, but in the 2 years since that injury, he's been below league average. Bases empty, 2 gone. Corey Seager. Strike one. And when you consider it's below league average by a touch, but when you consider what he was one of the 2 or 3, 4 very best pitchers in the National League for a long time.
I've always admired him and his stuff, the way he goes about his business. Has come back from the Tommy John and the Achilles, but always has very high standards and has really pitched to very high standards. Clayton Kershaw always got in his way in his best years. Clayton would end up with the Cy Young and he'd be 2nd or 3rd.
He just threw back-to-back curves to Seager. One at 66, one at 76.
66 is the slow for the year, I think. He's thrown one at 67 when I was scouting him.
Out of the fastball, count evens 2-2. Struck him out looking. Dodgers down quietly in the 3rd and down 2-0 to the bottom half. Dodgers after the game today. Will Ferrell joins Adrian Gonzalez for batting practice. And Yasiel Puig hosts a charity poker tournament to benefit his Wild Horse Foundation. Don't miss it. Presented by Hankook Tires right after the postgame show on Sportsnet LA. Stephen Piscotty leads off the bottom of the third and fouls the first pitch off of the right shoulder of Marty Foster, the home plate umpire.
Oh, yeah, that does not feel good at all. Just waiting for the feeling to come back in his arm, I'm sure. That pain to subside.
Will stay in. 53-year-old from Denver. Major League umpire for 2 decades now.
There's the hard plastic part of the padding and shoulder pads that they wear, and then there's just the softer kind of felt. And if it gets between the hard plastic and onto the felt, it can really sting.
By third and foul, 0-2.
E-ball man.
E10.
E10.
McCarthy to Piscotty, 0-2, and outside with a fastball.
Where as a starting pitcher, you just want to get right back on out there and post a zero. Post them as long as you can. Give your team a chance to get back in it.
Down the right field line, Puig moving over, won't get there. Piscotty opens the third with a single.
Piscotty can really run, but he wasn't about to test Yasiel Puig's arm from that distance. Just a little bleeder that he serves out there down the right field line.
Jed Jerko, the cleanup man. A fastball outside, 1-0. Jerko, the everyday third baseman, now took advantage of Johnny Peralta missing time. Hit so well that when Peralta came back, there was no longer an everyday spot for him. Two and 0. He's a late bloomer, undrafted out of high school, but then a second-round pick 3 years later. Base hit in the left center. Piscotty headed for third. Here's the throw from Bellinger. It's off the line, and it allows Jerko to take second.
It's a good piece of hitting right here. Reaches out and finds a hole, and I think this is a throw that Cody Bellinger would like to have back. Keep the double play in order. I don't think he had a shot at Piscotty. Made a nice throw earlier in the season to cut down a runner at home, save a run, but I think right there he helped the Cardinals set the table.
Second and third, nobody out. It's Yadier Molina hitting fifth today. Taking ball one. Molina had a 16-game hitting streak before game 2 of this series. Dodgers have held him without a hit 2 of the last 3. Off of the hands to third. This is a big first out here. Hernandez throws him out, and the runners hang on.
That ball right there to Kike. Let's say it was first and third. Well, the Cardinals would have started Piscotty at third, because if Kike goes for the double play, they want to make him pay a run for getting 2 outs. So Kike would have had a decision. That throw from left field to third base is still putting the Dodgers in a bind. They have a better chance now of getting out of it.
Tommy Pham struck out his first time. Called up in early May and was the best hitter for the Cardinals at .320 during the month. Check swing foul, strike 1. Talked about it a little bit earlier in the series, but Pham continues to deal with this issue in his eyes, where his corneas are constantly changing shape. Causes vision problems. He's already on his 3rd different contact prescription this season. Hard to third. Hernandez has Piscotty hung up. Now they'll try to execute the rundown. Barnes to the bag to tag Piscotty. 2 out.
Get this sorted out with the Volkswagen replay of this play. Kike Hernandez makes a nice play on a hard hit ball right here, and then does a nice job hesitating to make sure Piscotty's going to get in the rundown. And now Barnes does the right thing with the other runner, Jerko, coming over. It's Piscotty's bag. So as he touches Piscotty, he's safe. Jerko should be out for me. And now Piscotty should be out. That should be a double play, because it was Piscotty's bag, and if he's on the bag when Kike first touches, or Barnes first touches him, he's safe. Jerko, it's not his bag. You touch him. So let's see.
So Jerko is not safe at this point.
No. So Piscotty is safe at third. Jerko should be out, and now Piscotty gets off the bag, and he should be out also.
Instead, the inning plays on, and Paul DeJong bats with men at second and third. That's ball 1.
I think I read that one right.
Dave Roberts came out and had a discussion with the third base umpire, Mike Muchlinski.
See, and Turner, Justin Turner is saying. Exactly.
And Bob Guerin, who's down there, is the rules maestro. 1-1. Alana, you got a pretty good vantage point to hear that discussion.
Well, I think Justin Turner's point to Dave Roberts, guys, is that Piscotty should be out because it's the person that occupied the bag, in his opinion. Since Piscotty, pardon me, came over to third, Justin Turner saying that he should be out. Of course, Justin Turner primarily the third baseman, so perhaps he knows a little bit more about it.
2-1, so he agrees with you.
The first runner, it's his bag. So the first runner is Piscotty.
Yeah.
So if Piscotty is touching third while being tagged, he is not out.
DeJong down the left field line, hooking foul. Well, you just hope you get out of this with no damage done. If a call, in fact, was missed there, it would be salt in the wound if runs come across. McCarthy ready for a 2-2. DeJong dumps it back.
The fact that the discussion is still going on, Justin Turner just moving away from Dave Roberts and Bob Guerin. They're over there really grinding on it. So let's see when Barnes actually touches him. It doesn't look like he touches him until there, and then when he touches Jerko, I think Jerko's out, because when two guys occupy a bag, it's the first runner's bag, and Jerko would be out. because it's not his bag.
Now the only thing that could nullify that would be if that glove hit his foot or something
That
before
very
he got
beginning
back
part.
to the bag.
Yes, very beginning when if it ticks his foot, it's in the air, and they call him Piscotty out there.
So then Jerko would be safe standing on third.
Yes, he would.
Grounded foul, still 2-2.
So if they call that right there, if there's any tag there.
I think there was on the foot. You don't?
I don't. See, he calls him safe. He just called him safe.
Huh?
So he missed the umpire, the third base umpire missed the tag on Jerko to his chest. Luczynski, I think he missed the tag to the chest. If we have the other angle, he does tag Jerko when he is standing on the bag when it's not his, and he does call Piscotty safe coming back to the bag.
As it stands, second and third and 2 out. McCarthy and DeYoung in a battle that McCarthy wins with a fastball. Well, we try to work our way through some baseball rules, but either way, no runs score. The baseball gods always get it right. Rebel. Experience the power and toughness of Ram at your local dealer. Dave Roberts continuing this discussion between innings. This is live right now. He's been out there the entire half-inning break discussing this with Muchlinski.
He'd really be discussing it if the Cardinals would have scored some runs there.
As it stands, St. Louis 2, Dodgers nothing. On to the fourth. The 2 runs coming out of Adam Wainwright, second inning homer. 3, 4, and 5 for the Dodgers against Wainwright here in the fourth. First one to Cody Bellinger is up, ball 1. Dave's relaying whatever he found out from the umpiring crew to Justin Turner. Curve drops in there, and it's 1-1. 267 with that curve. One and 2. Continuing to see Wainwright change the speeds on the same pitch, almost making them 2 different pitches. A 67-mile-per-hour curveball, then a 74-mile-per-hour curveball. Just put him ahead of Bellinger. Now he's back home with a 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Wainwright's changing speeds for me is not giving in to age. as much as just being a smart pitcher and making an adjustment.
Curve is lined to right center field, a base hit for Bellinger. It rolls all the way to the track, picked up by Piscotty. Bellinger opens the fourth with a double.
Cody really needed this hit. He was starting to really scuffle. Take a look at the Morongo Casino slow-mo cam. It's a casino resort and spa, but this is not a spa day for Cody Bellinger. He is back in there. They need his bat to get hot again, get back on the winning ways. You need to swing in slow-mo to stay with that slow curve.
Now Gonzalez, Dodgers with a good opportunity to cut into this 2-0 deficit. Here in the series finale as they try to take 3 of 4. Line to second, caught by DeYoung. MLB.com at bat, your #1 mobile app for live Dodger baseball. Stay connected with a fully customizable experience. You can get Dodger home screen icons and app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, and plenty more. Download MLB.com at bat today. Utley walked his first time, the lone free pass issued by Wainwright. You're talking about Wainwright's year off of baseball with the Tommy John surgery in 2011, where he studied different pitchers, studied the game. Molina with a back pick to second, no chance to get Bellinger. One of the principles he came out of that with was walks are so stupid. I'm not going to walk anybody anymore, and so adopted a principle of just really trying to attack the zone and not having any sense of nibbling.
Well, he had that mentality before the surgery, but really the strategy, because he was always a guy that wanted to attack and had a bulldog attitude. But boy, it probably made him go less for the corners and more for halves of the plate. You sit on that couch and you watch baseball for a full year, and he was taking notes. He had a notebook and he followed a lot of the great pitchers and adopted different angles with his delivery at times. Got his arm up a little bit coming back from that surgery. Worked really hard on the trajectory of the ball coming out of his hand.
Falling behind Utley 3-0.
Let's see whether runners in scoring position if he uses the heart of the plate, or if he does mind walking Utley right here.
Strike one.
Next two guys in the Dodger order are Chase Utley and Kike, both hitting over 300 with runners in scoring position.
And he walks. So the Dodgers have him at first and second, and a 2-0 game in the fourth, and Kike Hernandez comes up.
That .252 average of Kike continue to creep up, and he's hitting .304 with runners in scoring position. Got an opportunity right here to increase that average.
Two on with one out. Wainwright to Kike. Got under it. In the air to right. Piscotty's short of the track. And they get Hernandez on one pitch. Bellinger advances to third, and the Dodgers at the corners with two gone for Austin Barnes. Barnes has one of the Dodgers' two hits in this game, a single in the second. Bellinger at third and Utley at first. Here comes Wainwright with strike one. On the corner with a cutter, and it's 0-2. It's a cutter that he ditched for 2 starts as part of this really good run. Brought it back his last time in Coors Field and excelled with it again. You'd notice that early on this year, a big part of his issue was that cutter was getting pounded. Trying to pitch around trouble in the 4th. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Molina crossed up on that pitch. Nods with conviction for this 1-2. Barnes up the middle, knocked down by Diaz, and he gets the out at second. Diving play by Aledmys Diaz to keep the Dodgers off of the board here in the 4th. Game presented by Security Benefit, June 10th, when the Dodgers face the Reds. Be there early. Be sure to watch your favorite former Dodgers play ball, including Oral Hershiser. For tickets and information, visit Dodgers.com/oldtimers. We are now, what, about 9 days away from that big day of yours?
I've started stretching.
Doing your arm exercises.
Oh, yeah.
Band work.
Yep. Two a days.
I bet. Diaz leads off this inning after taking a hit and an RBI away from Austin Barnes in the top of the inning. McCarthy starts him with a breaking pitch, strike 1. Defense was such an issue for this Cardinals team a year ago, and it has been again this year. But it helps them out here in the 4th inning. So we pulled out the rule book to try and figure out exactly what was going on in a big discussion last inning where 2 runners were occupying the same base. pop up. It'll get to the seats, and it's 1-2. Rule 506A. 2 runners may not occupy a base. If 2 runners are touching a base, the following runner shall be out. That's Jed Jerko when tagged, and the preceding runner is entitled to the base. Little floater to left center. Bellinger slides and makes the catch. Cody Bellinger went a long way to take a hit away from Diaz.
He is a wonderful outfielder. Look at the ground he's covering with those strides, and then the backhanded dive, one of the harder catches you'll ever make in the outfield. Exceptional play from Cody.
So again, to rehash that, if 2 runners are touching a base, the following runner shall be out when tagged. That's Jerko. The preceding runner is entitled to the base. Now, the reason that Piscotty wouldn't be safe is because he took off thinking that he was already out.
Yep.
It's a ball inside to Wainwright. So the following runner is out when tagged.
Barnes tags him right there.
Piscotty then gets up. He's no longer safe, very clearly, not standing on the base. Wainwright bounces one to third. Hernandez has it and gets him. Now, here's the caveat. And I'm still trying to work through this to see if this nullifies our theory. If a runner is forced to advance by reason of the batter becoming a runner, and the following runner is forced ahead, so was Jerko forced to third by a runner behind him?
No, it wasn't bases loaded. It was second and third.
But if a runner is directly behind him, he's not forced there. A runner had taken second. In that case, it was Tommy Pham. Is he now forced to third?
I don't know. That would be a caveat. I don't know. We're just always taught on the field that you tag the previous runner, yell "here out," and then tag the behind runner and see what happens. Because somebody usually vacates the bag, and what really happens normally, if you're on the running side of it, you both stand on the bag and you just wait for the umpire to tell somebody to get off.
Yeah, so that's tricky. Second and third. Is the runner at third technically forced there? Even though it's not forced by the traditional sense, wouldn't be a force out. Is he forced there by the runner behind him being at second? So it'll be interesting to see after the game what explanation Dave Roberts got there. A 2-1 on Fowler. He's pulled foul, and it's 2-2.
There are some little nuances in the rule book that are very hard to interpret, even when you're on the field or when you know the rules. If there's somebody who knows the specific rule, it'll be Bob Guerin.
And he will school you up. Just make sure you put aside a few good minutes for it.
He has an app on his phone that challenges him every day, testing him on baseball rules.
I'm sure he's broken the app by now. It just quit. Because Bobby G owns the app.
After every meeting in spring training, after Dave Roberts would have his meeting with the coaches, Bobby would gather 2 or 3 guys and say, "All right, I got one for you."
A full count on Fowler. Another foul ball. And I know that as we sit here and read the rule book, it can be hard to sit at home and digest it. We're just trying to give you the detail of the rule and explain it as best we can. A really weird situation, but the beautiful thing of baseball, you never know what you're going to see. You watch the game for hundreds of years and still dig deep into that rule book trying to find answers. He's walked him. First walk McCarthy's issued. And Matt Carpenter gets a chance to bat here in the fourth.
McCarthy's pitch count now up to 78. These Cardinals are making him work.
With that strike, he now matches his pitch count total from his last start when he was pulled for the knee tendonitis. Still had plenty of bullets left in the arm, but the knee got to the point where it wasn't worth pushing it any farther in what was a blowout against the Cubs.
He's gone past the 100 pitch mark just once this year. 103 against the Giants a few starts ago.
Fowler at first with 2 out. And a ball and a strike on Matt Carpenter, who was 1 for 2 today with a single and a strikeout. Well placed, 1-2.
Brandon McCarthy is the second hitter next inning, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Dodgers get somebody up in the bullpen as soon as he comes off the mound here.
Two balls and 2 strikes. So pitch count climbs to 83.
This game could come down to 1 at bat. Dave Roberts wasn't afraid to pull Kenta Maeda the other day to add on to a lead. Here when he's behind, I don't think he would be afraid to pull Brandon.
Fowler runs. Barnes' throw not in time, and a stolen base for Dexter Fowler.
You got to watch it here because they don't mind having Matt Carpenter lead off any inning. That has been a position that he has occupied for a long time as a leadoff hitter. So taking the risk of stealing the base there is not a big deal. Made it.
RBI chance for Carpenter here in the 4th inning, and a 3-2. Breaking ball drops in for strike 3. So McCarthy's only blemish in this game. Wainwright's 2-run homer onto the 5th, 2-0. Southern California Toyota dealers. The We Make It Easy sales event is going on now at your SoCal Toyota dealer. On this date in 1955, Duke Snider hit 3 home runs in a game in Milwaukee. Edwin Donald Snider. His parents nicknamed him Duke as a young kid because they said he strutted around like royalty. That stuck with him. One of the other nicknames they gave him is one that's popped up again this year, the Silver Fox, later in Snider's career, and that's something that stuck a little bit with Chase Utley lately. Cardinals 2, Dodgers nothing. Yasiel Puig to lead off the 5th against Adam Wainwright, who's allowed 2 hits. He's walked 2, but no damage. Pitching around jams in the 2nd and the 4th. Puig bunts to the first pitch, strike 1.
No action in the Dodger bullpen, and Brandon McCarthy coming out into the on-deck circle.
One ball and 1 strike. Wainwright's pitch count getting up there a little bit as well. This will be number 75 for the big right-hander out of Georgia. A curve, and Puig's ahead 2-1.
We just mentioned that Brandon McCarthy's in the on-deck circle, but now there's some action in the bullpen. Josh Fields stretching his shoulder before he throws. A little internal rotation exercise.
2-2. Puig grounded out to short his first time. 2 for 8 in this series now. Ready for a 2-2 pitch. That's a base hit to left past the diving Jerko. Yasiel Puig opens the 5th inning with a single. And Dave Roberts will pull Brandon McCarthy back with the leadoff man on and send Brent Eibner up to pinch hit.
Eibner carries the punch to tie this game up with 1 swing. The Dodger offense has been flat the last couple days. They only got 1 run yesterday and none here so far today. Dave Roberts looking for a spark.
And when you look at the options on the bench today, there's Grandal, but you don't want to use your other catcher on an off day this quickly. There's Forsythe, same situation. Don't want to use a guy you're giving an off day this quickly. And he doesn't have the same kind of ability to tie this game with 1 swing that this man does. Looks at a fastball low. It's 1-0. And the other is Franklin Gutierrez, who is a specialist against left-handed pitching.
I would think Forsythe is your hitter with a man on third and less than 2 outs. The most professional at bats out of him. If we take a look at Brandon McCarthy.
1-1.
Eibner known for his power, but can swing and miss an awful lot. So you wouldn't want him out there in a crucial situation with a man on third if you had another choice. The best hitter on the bench is Yasmani. The way he's swinging the bat from the left or the right side.
Wainwright pushes off with a 1-1, and Eibner watches that finish low and inside. He's ahead 2-1.
The last batter over there, Gutierrez, I think he'd be for Segrist.
Yeah.
The lefty out of the pen.
Just like there are lefty specialists out of the pen, there is a lefty killer specialist off of the Dodger bench. 3-1 on Eibner.
With Eibner's power and a 3-1 count and Wainwright's reputation for I don't like to walk people, could be a very good situation for the Dodgers if he gets a heater.
So you're saying buckle up for this one?
Yeah, this could be one. I'm going to lay out and let you call this one.
Thanks, Oral. 3-1. is fouled off. 3-2.
That'd have been so much fun if he'd hit a home run. I'd have had a told you so.
Good lead for Puig. Not running. Eibner turns around a fastball in the air to center. Fowler's back on the track with room just shy of the wall. Eibner flies out to the 400 sign in center, and there's one out in the 5th. Third time through the Dodger order now. Here's Chris Taylor, who has put up better numbers out of the leadoff spot than anywhere else in the order. He's hit all over the place for Dave Roberts. We're talking bottom line. The Dodgers 5-1 when Taylor starts as the leadoff man. Strike one. Boy, Wainwright really slows down with the man on base.
He is right now. Very pensive out there and grinding on every pitch. He held the ball a long time to freeze Yasiel Puig on the last pitch. And I think it got a little flinch swing on that hanging slider from Chris Taylor.
Taylor jams one into center. Fowler comes on, and it looks like he smothered it. He did. It's a base hit for Taylor, and the Dodgers have the tying run aboard. Now, we saw Dexter Fowler kind of awkwardly go into a slide last night when it didn't appear he needed to. It's just kind of an awkward looking attempt as well. Not that there was any lack of effort. It didn't seem the most efficient way to try and get under it.
Not the most fleet of foot center fielder. He didn't come up throwing either right there. He had a chance that Yasiel had to freeze, and he was only halfway. And watch it. If Fowler comes up with that slide and pops up and just kind of whirls and throws, he's got a chance to get the force out at second.
Tying run on. Go ahead run at the plate. Corey Seager is 0 for 2. Ball one. Wouldn't this be a nice time for Corey to hit his first home run in a bit? Two on, one out in the 5th inning. Wainwright's 1-0. Off of the hands, gently to first. Carpenter's only play is at first. Seager's the second out. They go to second and third, and it's up to Bellinger. Trying to build off of the momentum of that double he hit his last time to the warning track in right center. And you mentioned big moment for him to get that hit because really been scuffling.
Yeah, he has the numbers over the whole year for him so far, 256, but it's been in the 100s of late over the last couple weeks.
It's under the first pitch, strike one.
Combination of getting a hit on a curveball in the last at bat and then sitting on a fastball right there. Cody just missed it a little bit. Guessed right.
It's the third time in 5 innings today the Dodgers have had 2 men on base. Wainwright's been able to pitch around it thus far. Here's an 0-1. Bellinger takes it high, 1-1. Dodgers have gone 0 for 5 now with runners in scoring position. A pop-up. And an easy play for Aledmys Diaz. They've stranded 6 through 5. Halfway home in a 2-0 game. Has the Cardinals in front, and we welcome inside here in St. Louis Joe and Oral, and the Dodgers down 2-0, but it's not been for a lack of chances.
No, 0 for 6 with runner in scoring position. They've set the table a little bit. Brandon McCarthy threw the ball well, even though he's out of the game. Just the one pitch to Adam Wainwright. Continued to progress in this season. He has thrown the ball well, and now turn it over to the best bullpen in the National League. See if they can hold down the fort until the offense figures it out.
Who's in, who's out, brought to you by In and Out. Fields a candidate to win National League Reliever of the Month. Stephen Piscotty, the Cardinals 3-hitter, takes a high strike. That one's up, and it's 1-1. First time in a few days Fields has pitched. Had a bit of an illness the other day. Went back to the hotel to rest up. Maybe it was sun poisoning on his neck. 2-1.
You better fill the audience in. There's a certain percentage that doesn't know that he got his hair cut.
Yeah, it's been years. And he feels a lot better, though. Here's his 2-1. Piscotty fouls it off. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The former Stanford Cardinal. St. Louis Cardinals drafted him out of there in the first round a few years back as a first baseman, and then moved him to the outfield. As a first baseman, as a third baseman. Played in the College World Series there. And in his very first at-bat in Omaha, looked up on the scoreboard and saw they had his name spelled wrong. Had a V instead of the PH in his first name. Biggest stage. Dream your whole life of getting there. Come on. Takes that one up and in, full count. There's a story about Vin always dreaming of having his picture in the paper hitting a home run. And in college at Fordham, he finally hit a home run, his only home run of his career. And they snapped a picture of him crossing home plate, wrote it up in the paper the next day, had a picture of him crossing home for Scotty walks to start this inning. But they had his name wrong.
Was somebody else on the team? Why?
I'm trying to remember. I had his name completely wrong. So he finally gets, fulfills his dream of being in the newspaper. Jim Tully was the caption. Home run from Jim Tully. So after Fields walks the leadoff man, now here's Jerko. Starts him with a curve, strike one. Jerko 2 for 2 against McCarthy. Look out there, ball one at 96. One and two.
Well, the Jerko's hits, he has gotten on the outer half of the plate. A little bit of reach in both of them, so I'm not surprised that Austin Barnes wants to pound him inside a little bit.
Been an exciting week for Jed Jerko. His wife gave birth to their first daughter. Already has two young sons, but gave birth to their first daughter Tuesday. Climbs the ladder to get this one. It gets back and out of play. Still a ball and two strikes. And he will miss the next couple games and join the Cardinals again this weekend.
I don't know about you, but every time the ball's popped up, I can't see the ball with the sky.
Gone. I'm with you.
There's a glare and there's the white clouds and the light blue sky. It's a tough sky for the outfielders and the infielders on balls in the air.
Yeah, I was just going to say, good thing it doesn't matter that we can't see it. We don't have to catch it. A pop up. I see this one. It's in right center. Let's hope Taylor does too. Jerko the first out of the fifth. And up comes Yadier Molina. Saw his brother Benji last night, right?
Yep. Doing some Spanish radio for the St. Louis Cardinals. Where this is the first year with that broadcast in Spanish, and they're getting a big following, and they're going to continue on and do more games next year.
He and Yadier and Jose, they grew up in a two-bedroom house in Puerto Rico. One of the bedrooms was for their parents. One of the bedrooms is for the three boys, all together. Three brothers that have all won World Series rings. Benji did it with the Angels in 02. Jose did it twice on that same Angels team and with the Yankees in 09. And Molina part of those World Championships in 06 and 11 here in St. Louis. Yadier, that is.
We were walking down the hallway and I said to Benji, "Benji, did you ever take me deep?" He goes, "I don't think so, but I got Greg Maddux."
That's funny.
Jorge Jarin and the great Jaime Jarin had lunch with him yesterday, and they said he had some great stories for them.
their dad was a big-time baseball player in Puerto Rico. Is a Hall of Famer in Puerto Rican amateur leagues, all-time hits leader. He's a second baseman. And it's tragic, but Yadier has said before that it was somewhat perfect in the way it happened. His dad passed away suddenly, so again, it's a tragic thing, but it was while he was working at the youth field that he had helped build and that he spent most of his life in. 1-1. It was about a decade ago. Yadier said, hate to say it, but it was the perfect place. He was going to go at some point, let it be where he was happiest. The Diamond, hometown in Puerto Rico. Started teaching Yadier the game when he was 5 at a park across the street from that house. 1-2. And put Yadier in those adult amateur leagues that he was a Hall of Famer in. When he was 16, Yadier started playing with the big boys. That's where he first learned to call his own game, first learned his approach at the plate. In fact, he was facing pitchers that were in their late 30s. Missed with a fastball, but it's fouled off. Still 1-2.
Now he's the adult on the field. The veteran. Glancing back and greeted Austin Barnes as he came to the plate. Kind of check in with a fellow catcher. I'm sure Austin has admired him. Austin with the same type of tools. Really good arm and quick like a cat behind the plate like Yadier.
Driven down the right field line, well foul. Molina signed a long-term extension this spring. A record for a catcher. 3 years, $60 million. Has him wrapped up through 2020. Some people looked at it sideways because the Cardinals have the top catching prospect in baseball in AAA. Chases here. Fields gets him, and Piscotty's hung up between first and second. It's our second run down we've been treated to today, and this one finishes with Seager tagging him out to end the inning. See if the offense can get it going as we move along to the 6th.
Baseball's dynamic duo when it comes to selfies. Join us Tuesday versus the Nationals, when the first 40,000 fans will receive a Justin Turner bobblehead. Then complete the set with Adrian Gonzalez bobblehead during Game 2 of the bobbleheader on September 6th. Both presented by State Farm. Visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Sounds like a term you would have coined.
Bobbleheader?
Yeah, I know you can't take credit for that one, but
no.
Had somebody else not come up with that one, you would have eventually. Here's Adrian starting the 6th. Top offense in May, yet to score in June. Wainwright gets a high strike, 0-1. Dodgers averaged just a tick under 6 runs per game last month to lead the NL. Chasing a red hot Adam Wainwright. Now over the last 25 innings has given up only 1 run.
He's changed speeds from 66 miles an hour up to 93. That's a little bit of finesse.
One and two. Georgia native, grew up a diehard Braves fan, and then the Braves drafted him out of high school in the first round way back in 2000. Traded to the Cardinals a few years later along with Jason Marquis for J.D. Drew. Gonzalez down swinging on a big breaking ball that bounces. That's the 5th punch out, 1 away. Sergio Romo getting ready.
Day off yesterday, but had pitched in the 3 days prior.
Wainwright has walked 2 today, and both times it's been Utley. That's a strike. We showed the average now above 240. Without context, that isn't important or isn't impressive. Without context, the on-base percentage, though, still is impressive. It's 25 points above league average, even with that horrendous April. Defense plays him to pull with the bases empty and 1 out in the 6th. Wainwright winds in his 0-2 is fouled off. One and two. Wainwright nearing 100 pitches now. The bullpen for the Cardinals has not been very good this year. The Dodgers hoping they can get Wainwright out of here sooner rather than later. Now the 1-2. Tried to tail it back over the inside edge, but missed, and the count evens up.
Seems like when Chase is swinging, he is on every pitch, and when he's taken, he gets that read very, very quickly.
100 pitch, a curve that gets in.
Curveball struck out Gonzalez. Curveball strikes out Chase Utley. Serious depth on that pitch, and it's going straight down.
Wainwright's kind of gone back and forth today between dominance and shakiness. 1-2-3 first. 2 base runners in the second. 1-2-3 third. 2 base runners in the fourth and the fifth. Now trying to work a 1-2-3 sixth, and will. With a bouncing ball to second, DeYoung throws Hernandez out. Bottom of the sixth coming up in a 2-0 game.
Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop ChooseNissan.com.
Back in St. Louis, and Sergio Romo into the game for the Dodgers, trying to keep it at 2-0.
Has seen these Cardinals an awful lot and has done well. He's really back on the bump and throwing the ball well. Renewed confidence in the slider, but it really is his addition of throwing the fastball and the changeup more often that has got people off the slider. So not as one-dimensional anymore, Sergio Romo, as he tries to post a 0 here and give the offense another shot next inning.
Tommy Pham leads off the inning. And takes ball 1 from Romo. Pham used to be a pitcher himself. In fact, a lot of teams wanted to draft him as one. Had a low 90s fastball in Nevada as a high schooler. Flips a pop up on the infield. It's Seager up into that hazy sky. Looks at it and catches it for the first out. One out for DeYoung. '23-year-old, 1 for 2 today. Scored on the home run from Wainwright, which has accounted for all the scoring in this game. DeYoung has kind of gone backwards positionally. He was drafted as a third baseman, and then early on in his time as a pro, they moved him to short. Rarely do you see that happen. A guy be so athletic at third, have such good range that they move him a position over. Usually it's the other way around. You're too big and cumbersome at short, so you get moved to third. Barnes sets the target away for a 1-1, and Romo delivers a fastball that's grounded foul. Hammered down the left field line, but it took him foul on the changeup, which Romo's begun to sprinkle in more and more.
You should be able to throw that and the fastball. They both have tremendous movement, and they move opposite of his slider.
Little flare down the line, sinking foul.
Been changing speeds on his slider too, and the angle. That one was more like a slow curveball. You know, it's probably the same grip, and just changes the angle of his arm. He's got one that's more like a frisbee that breaks side to side.
DeYoung digs out a base hit to left. His second hit of the day. A one-out base runner for St. Louis.
You give up a base hit on that slider right there. That tells you more fastballs need to be thrown. That's a one-handed swing with a ball off the plate wide. When the hitter is too comfortable.
Aledmys Diaz, the batter, with the Cardinals in front 2-0 in the series finale. St. Louis trying to win the final 2 games of the set to salvage a series split. Slider for a strike. It's a story when Diaz was 8 in Cuba, went with a much older age group to a tournament in Venezuela, and his role was just to be the bat boy. But by the end of the tournament, he was the starting shortstop. They got a player hurt, got another player hurt, and said, hey, let's activate that 8-year-old bat boy. A much older group, and was the starting shortstop when they went back to Cuba. 1-2.
He must have had some really good batting practice. You see him in a game, he's just working out with the glove, hanging out.
Greg Garcia standing in the on-deck circle. That means Adam Wainwright's day likely coming to a close.
Sounds like a good kids movie.
Bat boy becomes a shortstop.
Yeah. Win the championship.
Face some adversity along the way.
A little bit.
Nice story arc. Chases a slider, strike 3. That would happen in the movie.
Strike him out.
Right. Yeah. The kid would strike out. There'd be low points. Can he get through this? But of course he will.
In his first good game, maybe like the ball takes a bad hop and comes up and hits him in the chin or something, where he's got to respond to pain. Stay in there and be tough when he wants to cry, but he's around all the older kids.
Dave Roberts coming out with Garcia announced, ready to make a double switch. Logan Forsythe comes into the game. And Grant Dayton, fresh back from Oklahoma City, will come into pitch.
Our backstage cameras have spent some time in Oklahoma City as of late. In fact, they were there when Grant Dayton got the call up around 10:30 p.m. last night. He had a 5 a.m. flight this morning, had a connection through Dallas, Texas. He arrived here at 11 this morning. It's the glamorous life, gentlemen, when you get the call up. Of course, you want to be in the show, but you're not always in first class and you're not always on a chartered plane.
He's made that trip before, Alana. This is where he made his major league debut last year in this ballpark. Pitched in the 11th and the 12th innings of a 16-inning game between the Dodgers and the Cardinals. A couple of scoreless innings for him. Logan Forsythe on as part of a double switch, replacing Kike Hernandez, so slot him in third next inning. And the pitcher's spot now sixth. After Garcia was announced, Dave Roberts pulls the trigger on bringing the lefty in, and so Mike Matheny in the chess match makes one more move, calling on Johnny Peralta, who swings away strike one.
Grant brings his 95-mile-an-hour fastball back to the big leagues. Predominantly that pitch is his bread and butter. Working a little bit on the breaking ball for a strike, kind of like the way Josh Fields has developed his breaking ball in the relief role.
One ball and one strike. Only 2 runs in this game, coming on Adam Wainwright's home run, the second.
How could they hit for him?
I know, right? He's their offense. Wainwright now, his last 4 starts spanning 26 innings, has allowed 1 run. Had been the weak link on what is the best starting staff in baseball. But even he is now really pitching well. Starting pitching has been the only thing that's been consistently good for St. Louis. The offense not. The defense not. The bullpen not. So you sit at 25 and 25 starting June. A 2-1. Crack bat, pop up, short right. Utley's there. And we're finished with the 6th. On to the late innings. Let's see if the Dodger offense can get it cranked up against the Cardinal bullpen. Out as we look at our Land Rover Performance Spotlight. He'll take it in the opener against the Brewers tomorrow. 4 strikeouts short of 2,000 in his career.
So nice to have him back there this year and not be hurt. Hopefully he gets a full season. He's got a chance to win 20 again. He's got 7 wins, but should actually have about 9 if it would have went perfectly right.
Matt Bowman, the first reliever to come in for St. Louis. There are 7 active pitchers with 2,000 Ks. Sabathia, Colon, Felix Hernandez, Verlander, Lackey, Hamels, and Greinke. Austin Barnes starting the 7th by taking a ball.
Zach Greinke goes later today for Arizona.
They open up a series in Miami.
Sabathia, did you mention him on that list?
Number 1 on the list.
Yeah, he goes today.
Two 2-0. 3 Dodgers on the 2,000 strikeout club. Don Sutton, the all-time leader. Don Drysdale, Sandy Koufax. You had 2,000, but not all with the Dodgers. Here's a 2-0. And 3 balls and no strikes. Bowman turning around, shooting a glance at that mound, not liking his footing. We told you the starting pitching, just about all that's been consistently right about this Cardinals team this year. The bullpen inconsistent. Overall, 4th worst in baseball by ERA.
Yachty coming out to the mound and giving a little pep talk about, come on, I believe in you. Let's go for it. There's Carlos Martinez without his silver hair extensions.
Three and 1. Puig and Forsythe the follow in the 7th inning for the Dodgers. After a 2-1 loss last night, down 2-0 here in the 7th. And after falling behind 3-0, it's 3-2. He checks his swing. That's ball 4. And a leadoff walk for Austin Barnes. So fortuitous way to greet this St. Louis bullpen, and Puig comes up representing the tying run in the 7th.
This offense really has been stagnant today. They've been able to get some traffic out there every once in a while, but no key hits. The LCL had an opportunity back in the 2nd inning with runners on. Couldn't come through. Grounded into a fielder's choice that ended the inning.
Bunts through it, strike 1. Same thing that he did his last time up. Now the Dodgers had 9 runs on Sunday. They had 5 on Monday, 9 on Tuesday, but only 1 over the last 2 days, and it came on a sacrifice fly from Adrian Gonzalez. Inside on Puig. Let's go down to Alana.
Yesterday I had an opportunity to have a conversation with hitting coach Turner Ward about how effective the offense has been, particularly in the last 2 to 3 weeks. And May, of course, putting up those great numbers. After they came back to the hotel last night, Turner Ward was on the 2nd bus. I was already there. And he looked at me and he basically took his finger to his throat and was like, never again am I talking to you about how good the offense is. I said, it may have something to do with Carlos Martinez, guys.
Puig bounces wide of the bag at 3rd, and it's 1-2. I think it definitely did, but we always have a hand in it. We're always guilty of a little jinx.
Gathering information now is a jinx. It's the whole Sports Illustrated jinx. If you're good enough to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated, by the time they print it and the story comes out, you're cold.
Right.
You just can't stay hot long enough.
Bowman's 1-2, strikes out Puig. Tailed a two-seam fastball through the back door for the first out of the 7th.
Outstanding movement from Bowman right here. Starts this in the left-hand batter's box and just tails it all the way back to the corner.
Logan Forsythe's first AB of the day. He's come alive in this series with a home run. Reached 5 times in that first game. Take strike 1. Now breaking ball, and it's 0-2.
The changeup from Bowman is a very good one. It's got some good depth and good arm speed on it. Throws it about 15% of the time. His slider slash cutter is kind of a combination pitch. When he breaks it big, people chart it as a slider. When he tightens it up and throws it harder, chart it as a cutter.
Here's his 1-2. Forsythe takes it low. Count evens 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bright sunshine now after it was pretty hazy over the first half of this game. Been blessed with some very nice weather this week in St. Louis. High 70s, low 80s, not a ton of humidity as there often is. No rain during the games either. Coming inside on 2-2, and Forsythe grounding it by the bat.
This would be a big win for the Dodgers today if they can come back and win this game. You start out the road trip winning 2, coming off a sweep. As you left LA, you'd beaten the Cardinals 2 out of 3 when they were in LA. You win 3 out of 4 before you go off to Milwaukee. Really still feel like you're on a roll compared to splitting a 4-game series where you won the first 2.
Good lead at first for Barnes. Another 2-2 and a bouncing ball that probably going to finish the inning. 4-6-3. Stretch time in St. Louis, and the Cardinals with a 2-0 lead. Last night it was a Dexter Fowler homer that won it for the Cardinals. Today it's an Adam Wainwright home run that has the Cardinals in front 2-0. Dodgers have had opportunities but hitless in 6 ABs with runners in scoring position. So 2-0 the score as they move along to the bottom of the 7th.
2, 3, and 4 with the Offers with runners in scoring position. Also 6, 7, and 8. Just one of them could have gotten a hit. At one time it could have got the Dodgers 2 runs, but at least 1 run they'd be closer.
Grand Dayton got the last out of the 6th inning and now comes on for the 7th. Fowler, Carpenter, Piscotty duo. Backdoor breaking pitch for a strike. Fowler, one of the things he's brought to the Cardinals is his bright personality, his good attitude. Said he noticed playing on the other side, those couple years in Chicago, that it wasn't always that way. Things were a little too serious, it seemed like, in the Cardinals dugout. Very first day of full squad workouts this year in Arizona or in Florida for them, he turned on a hip hop playlist during stretch. Everyone lit up as if they'd never heard music before, or they never had during stretch in St. Louis. And it became a tradition there. A different guy got to choose his own playlist each day. Little things like that, part of the reason why they were willing to give such a big deal to Dexter Fowler. The intangible things he brings. 2-2.
It's always fun to have those guys on the club that can loosen you up, but also know when it's time for business. And the days can get long and the year can get long, but it's a lot shorter and there's a lot more camaraderie and energy when you have those few guys that can really stir it up. A little bit like Kike Hernandez. Kershaw in Colorado was that guy, doing it with the bubble gum and sunflower seeds and bouncing balls.
Speaking of, there's one to short, dug out by Gonzalez on the back end, and Fowler's the first out of the 7th.
Clayton pitching tomorrow.
That is against Jimmy Nelson of the Brewers, 5:10 Los Angeles time. Then Saturday 1:10. Rich Hill, Matt Garza. Road trip wraps up with an 11:10 LA time game on Sunday. Maeda and Davies. And back home to face the Nationals. Dodgers and Nationals, 2 of the 4 teams in the National League with 33 wins leading the way. Rockies and Diamondbacks the others. Now Carpenter takes a breaking pitch for strike 1.
People around the nation looking at that Dodger National Series as maybe a playoff preview. Things would have to work out perfectly for it to be one of the first series, but definitely be for the championship.
Rematch of the National League Division Series last year with the Dodgers 1-5. A memorable Game 5 in Washington. I think Kershaw came on for the final outs.
Kenley Jansen got all the regular season saves, and Clayton got one in the playoffs.
Carpenter lines it into the shift, and it's caught by Utley. It was Kershaw's first save of any kind since he was in rookie ball, where his catcher was Kenley Jansen.
Oh, wow.
Two out in the 7th. Here's Piscotty. Dodgers at 33-21 at the 1/3 point of the season. Best record in franchise history through 54 games, the 1955 World Championship team. 42-12.
That's a pretty good team.
Brought the first world title to the franchise. Here's Dayton's 1-1. Piscotty pulls it sharply to short. Picked by Seager, and Grant Dayton executes a 1-2-3-7. On to the 8th with the Cardinals in front, 2-0.
BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers, or visit SoCalBMW.com.
Under the arch here at Busch Stadium, Cardinals 2, Dodgers nothing. Trevor Rosenthal, the hard thrower, on for the 8th.
Get ready to hit the gas. And I don't mean the accelerator in your car, because this guy can get it up to 100, really a tick over. How many times did the velocity go down from the 8th inning to the 9th inning? But Cardinals case, it does.
Top of the order, Chris Taylor, Corey Seager, Cody Bellinger. Taylor goes after the first one, comes up empty at 97. Rosenthal has had a lot of good seasons. But last year, bad years. He dealt with some arm problems, Milwaukee's shoulder. And they've tried to keep him healthy this year by not overusing him, not using him ever on back-to-back days. That's really the only reason that he's not in the closer role right now. Sunwano continues to occupy that, but they just can't count on him to be there when they need him on a daily basis because of the health. Closer stuff for sure. Taylor shoots one foul, still 0-2. There is O getting ready for the 9th. Ball one, 99. Rosenthal just turned 27, and he's already in his 6th major league year. Debuted when he was 22. All-Star a couple years back before dealing with that shoulder problem last year. Home of the 1-2. Taylor takes it in the dirt. They check down to first, but no swing. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Chris 1 for 3 today. That's one of the 4 Dodger hits. 3 singles and a double. They've had traffic several times, but unable to capitalize. Full count. Boy, Yadier was not subtle with where he wanted that pitch. Throwing his hand to the side.
100 miles an hour he got it. Rosenthal's got a little John Wetland in him.
Fouled off. Taylor making him work. Got a piece of 100 there. Fastballs are what Taylor struggled to catch up to before his swing change this offseason. Leading off the 8th and protecting again. 99.
You got to start it a little earlier. You don't start your swing a little earlier, but you start getting your weight back and your trigger. Still got to read where the pitch is before you launch the swing. But make sure you're loaded. Get your front foot down in time.
That's the 10th pitch of the AB, and Chris Taylor continuing to battle against the hard thrower. It's been the low and away slider that Taylor has fished after some this year. But Rosenthal sticking with that heavy fastball. The 11th pitch to Taylor. In the dirt, ball 4. The Dodgers have the leadoff man on here. An 11 pitch trip up there for Taylor. Finishes in a walk.
You got a guy throwing 100 miles an hour. You have a really good read on a slider there to get that walk. Maybe that'll give him a spark.
Fouled off 100. Fouled off 99. Fouled off 100. All with 2 strikes. That makes Corey Seager the tying run in a 2-0 game in the 8th. Rosenthal delivers outside for ball 1.
Yachty wants a chat. Not like he's having trouble throwing strikes. He just had a tough battle with Taylor, and Chris Taylor should be credited with this meeting. He didn't foul off all those pitches. They're probably breezing through this inning, but he made him work, and now he's got his confidence damaged a little bit.
Rosenthal walked 2 in his last outing, but struck out 2 to get out of that inning with no damage. Seager on the ground is short. Diaz to DeYoung. DeYoung to first, a double play. 6-4-3 to squelch the momentum and the potential rally here in the 8th.
Yadier Molina called the meeting himself. He wasn't told by the bench to go out and talk to him. He's a pitching coach on the field. Went out there, slowed the game down, encouraged his pitcher, put down the signal, and got 2 outs on 1 pitch.
So now gets to face Bellinger with the bases empty. Ball 1. Cody the lone extra base hit for the Dodgers in this one. It's a double back in the 4th. It's ahead of Rosenthal 2-0. Two and 1.
Big swing at a fastball right down the middle.
Now fastball out. It's 3 balls and a strike on Bellinger.
It's not a sweet spot right here. Let Adrian Gonzalez take a shot at tying the game up.
It comes up empty and a pitch in the zone. 3-2.
Another one middle at a very high velocity.
Dodgers in danger of being shut out for the 3rd time this year, but the 1st time since Game 10. Fly ball to shallow left field. Up in the bright sunshine. Diaz can't find it. Pham comes on, and it winds up being Grisham to go back and catch it. Dodgers get the leadoff man on, but Rosenthal faces the minimum thanks to the double play.
Game coverage continues. Coming up next, Access Sportsnet Dodgers, brought to you by your Southern California Nissan dealers. John, Jerry, and Ned break this one down. The Dodgers currently down to their final 3 outs. That will be Brandon Morrow trying to keep the St. Louis offense at bay, guys.
Only blemish against Dodger pitching from that offense today, Alana. An Adam Wainwright home run in the 2nd against McCarthy. And Morrow now for his 3rd appearance of this series. He's yet to allow a base runner.
Been called up to the big leagues with an out in his contract. I think that if he wasn't in the big leagues by June 1st, the Dodgers would have had to let him have an opportunity to go somewhere else. But right now, they're kind of glad that he had that out and got him up here because he's been contributing in a big way. Just hope it continues.
Jed Jerko 2 for 3 with a pair of singles. Middle part of the order for St. Louis. Strike 1. Dodgers will have the middle of the order coming up in the 9th against Gonzalez, Utley, and Kike hurt, or the pitcher's spot after that. Troy the Grandal or Gutierrez. That's up, and it's 1-1. Yank deep to left. Bellinger turns, and that ball is off the wall. Jerko opens the 8th with a double.
Breaking balls. We take a look at the Carl's Cam replay. Brandon Morrow left this ball up a little bit. The off speed got Jerko out in front, but he has just enough swing left to get this to the left field corner. Huge run for the Cardinals sitting out there at 2nd base. now with no outs.
Yadier Molina 0 for 3 today. Dodgers have held him at bay in this series. He's 2 for 14. Fish is here, strike one. Left it up, but it was fouled off. Morrow's ahead of Molina, 0-2. Cardinals go from here to Chicago to face the Cubs, who are reeling, having lost 6 in a row, an 0-6 road trip.
Their bats have really gone silent. They got a nice outing from Jake Arrieta the other day and still didn't get any runs for him. They lost 2-1.
Morrow with an 0-2. Molina hacks another high pitch foul. That's that 0-6 trip. They actually began in Colorado and dropped 2 of 3 there, I want to say. So 1-8 trip for the Cubs. They'll open that series this weekend with the Cardinals 2 games under 500. Molina digs it out, stays alive at 0-2.
When's the last repeat winner? Back to the Yankees, is it?
98 through 2000.
Yeah. So hard to repeat, especially nowadays.
Last repeat pennant winner in the National League, the Phillies in 08 and 09. Chase Utley. Little tapper off of Morrow's glove. Seager adjusts to backhand it and get Molina.
Enjoy all the sizzling summer action at Dodger Stadium. Purchase a Dodger Summer 6-pack and choose your favorite giveaway nights, preferred days of the week, and great matchups. Plus, you'll get a cool t-shirt with your purchase. Visit Dodgers.com/mini-plans.
3 in Milwaukee, then headed home with the Nationals coming to town Monday through Wednesday. Then a day off. Then it's the Reds over the weekend. With a man at 3rd and 1 out, Tommy Pham trying to come through with some insurance. The infield comes in, the pitch goes up, and it's 1-0.
They're at a 4 level in the infield. They are all the way in on the grass. This is not going to be halfway.
One and one. One and two as Pham swings wildly. Morrow could really use a strikeout here.
Well, he can go 98 miles an hour and up if he can crank that up. And he's also got that breaking ball he can repeat in the dirt.
Jerko at 3rd with 1 out. Morrow to Pham with a 1-2 offering. A little bit up. 98. 2-2. He does get him, and he uses the breaking pitch to do it for a big second out here in the 8th.
It's not low and away, but it's definitely low with good break. This ball backs up on him a little bit, just kind of falls off to clear on the mound to get his arm through really well to keep this ball down. Changes the angle slightly, but got really good bite on that pitch.
Now a number of ways to get out of this inning. The infield goes back to normal depth, and Paul DeJong, having a fantastic debut week in the majors, comes up. Slider punch foul, strike 1. Quickly 0-2. Gonzalez, Utley, and then likely Grandal for the Dodgers in the ninth. Franklin Gutierrez also available to Dave Roberts. He's used Forsythe. He's used Eibner.
This has been a very nice inning by Brandon Morrow. I know the double, but it wasn't well hit. It was just hitting the right spot. I've got a chance to get out of it.
Kicks away from Barnes. Jerko holds on.
Outstanding play by Austin Barnes. Breaking ball in the dirt. Tries to block it, deflects it, but keeps it close enough to himself. And he's so quick. Watch how quick he gets to this ball. He gets off of his knees, and then in 2.5 steps, he is on it.
Struck out Pham. Misses outside here. 2-2 on DeYoung. Brandon Morrow. Dodger debut this week. Pitching in 3 of the 4 games of this series. Flashing some really good stuff. Right down the middle with a breaking pitch to end the inning. On to the 9th. Let's see if the middle part of the order can make some magic. Down 2-0. Producing play of the game. Wainwright with a 2-run homer off of Brandon McCarthy in the second. The Dodger offense has had no answer. 6 shutout innings from him. 1 from Bowman, 1 from Rosenthal, and now Soon Wano looks to pick up his 2nd save in as many days.
It has not been pretty. The Dodgers gotten guys on against him. And he really came through with his slider yesterday. He will mix his pitches between that changeup that he really take a lot off of, his slider, and his fastball. And he doesn't really have one exceptional pitch that he goes, oh, this is the out pitch. He'll mix them all in.
They'll have to go through the heart of the order. It's Gonzalez to lead it off. Right down the middle with strike 1. Last chance for Adrian to extend an 8-game hitting streak. Pulled foul. 0-2. It's the exact part of the order that he went through last night. Well, but Gonzalez was able to single against him. A bloop shot down the left field line. He struck out Utley. Got Bellinger to fly out. He was hitting 6th yesterday, and then struck out Chris Taylor to end it with the tying run on base. 1-2.
Left-handed batters like Adrian have hit .319 off of O this year. It's the righties he's really given trouble to. 196.
Takes this one. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Those 17 pitches that he threw yesterday to this portion of the lineup, they gained some information, so he's not really going to be able to surprise them.
Full count.
Adrian got on yesterday. They pinch ran for him. Eibner was the pinch runner, but he's already been used in this game as a pinch hitter.
Could be somebody like Ross Stripling. Strike 3 on a generous outside corner.
I think this ball was away. Let's see what PitchCast says. Adrian's got it away. I've got it away. PitchCast has got it away. Boy, that is a bad break for a 3-2 pitch to bring the tying run to the plate. That hurts.
O gets Gonzalez and Utley comes up. Grandal is already reported to the on deck circle. Utley trying to reach to make Grandal the tying run. Strike 1. Two walks and a K today for Utley. Strike 2. Fades that one outside. Ball 1. Wano in his 2nd year in the majors, but a veteran as a pro. Long career in Korea. Is 1-2. Utley barely gets a piece to stay alive.
Nice job fighting off that changeup.
Another 1-2. That's ball 2. Utley down the left field line, but just foul.
Rough day
down there, yeah.
What a way. I've had a rough day, and now this might end it. Watch out. Ooh. Oh, he set up everybody behind him.
He may not be in the lineup tomorrow. Here comes another 2-2 from Mo. Utley pops it in his direction again. Get out of the way, buddy. Chase can reach. Yasmani Grandal would come up representing the tying run. Now today where the Dodgers have only 4 hits. Trying to rally down to their final bullets. Another 2-2. And Utley pulls a floater to right. On comes Piscotty, and it's in front of him for a base hit. Utley, after falling behind 0-2, worked it back to 2-2, fouled off a few in a row, and then deposited a single to right.
Give yourself a chance. That's all you can do. Coming off the fastball, gets a changeup off the end of the bat, but he's glad that it's off the end of the bat. Not hit hard enough to reach the outfielders.
Get out of here. Now you're done.
Somebody just got tossed out of the Dodger dugout. Adrian Gonzalez got tossed by Marty Foster.
You better stop him first. You better stop him first. You better stop him
And Alana reports to us from right down near there that he's been barking ever since he got back in there after taking strike 3 call.
Well, I'm sure once you go down and see the video and you see what's gone on and the ball was wide, Adrian now has a right to gripe a little bit.
And then it's kind of what's the phrase you use? Hot coals once there's a base hit.
Yep. Heaping hot coals on his head because all of a sudden the inning would have been a lot different.
So Gonzalez has been ejected.
Here's the pitch that he's upset about. 3-2, no out, trying to bring the tying run to the plate. And Adrian's like, that ball is away. Cost a little money out of his paycheck, but he feels better for it.
Dave Roberts going to have some maneuvering to do if this thing gets to the bottom of the 9th inning now.
Rondal could play first.
As he bats representing the tying run.
And you don't end up, if it goes into extra innings, feeling naked, not having a backup catcher. Keep both catchers in the game.
O's ready to go, and his first one to Grandal. Outside for ball 1. Dodgers have only been shut out twice this year. Both happened in the first 10 days of the season. They're the hottest offensive team in the National League in the month of May. Runner at first and 1 out. Here comes a 1-0, and Grandal takes a generous outside corner again. It's like the same relative location to the one that Gonzalez was mad about.
Ball is way out.
Yep. And the frame job on the strike that Molina got there. I mean, it was almost a mockery of a frame job. It wasn't just a tilt of the wrist. He really pulled it back in and still got a strike call out of it. It's like you see now watching Little League World Series stuff. The catcher's there pulling the ball back. That's a change to even the count at 2-2. That's no knock on Molina. I think Molina thought that the thing was probably most certainly outside. It's the only way he could give it the illusion of being a strike was to really tug it back. Strike 3. And now Grandal has been tossed by Marty Foster. And he and Gonzalez both had a point.
These balls are wide. Yasmani, who's been watching this game, has seen the strike zone from the television an awful lot. He hasn't been on the bench the whole time. I'm sure he's been in watching it on TV and scouting the hitters and seeing the strike zone. The one Yasmani ends up getting tossed over as he held the anger in until the volcano exploded at the end of the at-bat.
So it's up to Barnes, and if he can reach Puig.
Barnes hits a home run, ties this game. He better stay healthy.
Yeah.
Kike Hernandez might be your backup catcher.
He's already out.
Oh, that's right. Kenley Jansen.
Strike one. Well, Puig, the guy on deck, in a very hypothetical world, grew up as a catcher, and I'm sure could pull it off. Long way to go before that becomes any kind of question. An 0-1. Outside. 1 ball and 1 strike on Barnes. Has reached twice today, a single and a walk. That's one of the 5 Dodger hits. Only 1 swing today that's really mattered. Adam Wainwright's home run in the second. Checks his swing. 2-1. Barnes hits a high fly ball that is playable if they can find it in the sun. Diaz back to make the catch. And the Cardinals shut the Dodgers out here in the finale to salvage a split.
Frustration and I think a little anger. These Dodgers had the opportunities that they created, and they feel like they had a few opportunities that they got taken away from them by the home plate umpire strike zone.
Lexus player of the game is Adam Wainwright with his 6 shutout innings. He's now thrown 26 innings over his last 4 starts and given up just 1 run. Oh, and he gets credit for the offense with a 2-run homer, 2nd long ball of the year. That's the game's